Welcome back to the Inner Compass. I am Sasha and I'm so glad that you're here. First of all, I would pay my gratitude to each one of you. You have been supporting me and motivating me to work better and come out with some brilliant ideas. Keep supporting. Your love can be seen through the star ratings that you have been giving me. So, let's begin. But can I ask you something before we begin? Is there something in your life right now that didn't go the way you planned? A relationship that shifted, a job that did not work out, a dream that's taking longer than you thought, a version of your life that you would mapped out that quietly or suddenly stopped looking like the map? If the answer is yes, this episode is for you. And if the answer is not right now, I would still invite you to stay because every single one of us, somewhere, we face it. The question is never if life will surprise us. The question is what we do when it does. Today, we are talking about one of the most universal and least talked about parts of human experience. What happens when life doesn't go according to what we planned? Not the Instagram version of resilience, not the everything happens for a reason platitude. The real, honest, sometimes messy version. Let's go there together. Let me paint a picture and tell me if these sound familiar to you. You had a plan, maybe it was a big one, a career path, a relationship, a life you had been building toward. Maybe it was smaller, a conversation you had prepared for, a project you have poured into, a hope you had been quietly carrying. And then something changed. It didn't go the way you thought it would. And in that moment, or maybe in the days after, something happened inside you that felt like more than just disappointment. It felt like ground disappearing beneath your feet. Because it wasn't just the plan that broke, it was the sense of safety the plan gave you, the feeling of knowing what came next, the story you had been telling yourself about how your life was going to go. And suddenly, that story didn't fit anymore. If you have felt that, the disorientation, the grief, the strange guilt of being upset about something that others might call not a big deal, I want to know what you felt was real, what you felt was valid, and what you felt was completely, entirely human. Plans are not just logistics, they are how we create a sense of control in a world that is fundamentally uncertain. And when a plan breaks, we don't just lose the plan, we lose the comfort of believing we knew what was coming. So, why do we resist? Why it is so hard when things don't go as planned? I mean, we know intellectually that life is unpredictable. We have been surprised before. We have adapted before. We have survived things we thought would break us before. And yet, every time something shifts unexpectedly, it can feel like the first time. Here's why I think that happens. We don't just grieve the thing we lost, we grieve the future we have imagined. The relationship that ended, you're not just sad for that person, you're sad about the holidays that you have planned, the person you thought you would become with them, the chapter of your life that had their name written through it, the job that fell through. You're not just losing an income, you're losing the version of yourself who had that title, that identity, that direction. We grieve futures that never happened. And that grief is real, even if no one else can see what you lost, because it existed so vividly inside you. The second reason this is hard is something I call the supposed true story. Most of us carry an invisible script of how our lives are supposed to go, by what age, in what order, with what milestones. And when life deviates from the script, we don't just feel disappointed, we feel like we have failed at life itself. That story, that invisible script, is worth examining because most of the time we didn't write it. It was handed to us by our families, our cultures, our social media feeds. And a story you didn't write is a story you're allowed to rewrite. So, what do you actually do when you are in it? When the plan has broken and you're standing in the middle of the pieces. I have listed 5 truths about unplanned detours in life, not as comfort, not as silver linings, but just the honest things which I have discovered through my own experience and through the conversations I have with people who are rebuilding. The first one, the detour often knows something that plan didn't. This is the one that tends to make people roll their eyes. And I understand why. When you are in middle of something falling apart, the last thing you want to hear is this is happening for a reason. I am not saying that. I'm saying something slightly different. The thing you planned was built on who you were when you made that plan. And you, right now, are not the same person who made that plan. You have grown, you have changed, you have discovered things about yourself that you did not realize then. And sometimes the plan that made perfect sense maybe 2 years ago no longer fits with the person that you have evolved into. The detour isn't a punishment, it might be a redirection towards something that actually fits. Think about a time in your life when something didn't go to plan, and looking back, you can now see it moved you somewhere better, even if it did not feel that way at that time. Hold that memory. Let it remind you that you have navigated detours before and you found your way. The second one is flexibility is not giving up, it's wisdom. We have been taught that changing course is failure, that if you said you would do something and you didn't, that makes you weak, inconsistent, unreliable. But the most resilient people I know are not the ones who never changed their plans. They are the ones who changed them wisely. This version of persistence, that is strength, holding steady when things are hard, when the path is slow, when progress is invisible. And there is another kind of persistence, the kind that is actually fear, the fear of being seen to pivot, the fear of admitting that what you thought you wanted is no longer right, the fear of starting over. Knowing which is which, that is where the real wisdom lives. Adapting to what is real is not giving up on your dreams. It is the one of the most honest and courageous things a person can do. Think of a tree. The tree that survives the storm is not the same that stands rigid. It's the one that knows how to bend. Coming to the next one, the third one, you are allowed to grieve what did not happen. This one matters to me a lot because so many of us are not ready for this step and skip it. The people, they skip it and they go straight to, okay, what's next? They stay busy, they optimize. But underneath all that moment, there is something unprocessed waiting to be acknowledged. You are allowed to be sad that it did not work out. You are allowed to miss the version of your life that was supposed to happen. You are allowed to feel the loss of a future that existed within your imagination but felt completely real to you. Grief doesn't have to be about death to be real. Any significant loss, including the loss of a future you believed in, deserves to be felt. Not forever, not in a way that keeps you stuck, but honestly, gently, without rushing yourself toward the next thing before you have honored this one. Give yourself permission to feel it. You don't have to be okay yet. You just have to be honest about where you are. Coming to the fourth one, your identity is not your plan. This is one of the deepest things I want to say out loud today. When a plan breaks, especially a big one, it can feel like you have lost yourself because we often tie our identity to our plans, to our roles, our titles, our relationships, our trajectories. I am someone who has this job. I am someone in this relationship. I am someone who is on this path. And when those things change, we we have disappeared. We feel that our existence is not there. But you are not your plan. You are the person who made the plan. You are the values underneath the plan, the strength that informed it, the dreams that inspired it, the capacity for love and courage and growth that made you try in the first place. None of that disappears when the plan changes. It comes with you into whatever comes next. You're not starting over, but you're starting differently. And you are bringing everything you have learned, everything you have become. It stays with you. And the last one, I call it as the unplanned chapters are often most alive. Think about the most meaningful moments in your life, the connections you didn't expect, the opportunities that arrived because something else fell through, the version of yourself you discovered only because the plan you had been holding on to finally let you go. How many of them were planned? The most alive moments, the most real, most transformative, most deeply felt chapters of most people's lives arrived unplanned, unscheduled. They came through the cracks in that plans, through the detour, through the disruption, through the thing that wasn't supposed to happen. Life has a way of leading us to exactly what we need. When we finally stop clinging to what we thought we wanted. That doesn't mean every detour is a gift. Some are just hard, some are genuinely painful and unfair. But inside even the most difficult chapters, there is almost always something that could not have arrived any other way. Stay open. The most beautiful chapters of your story may be the ones you never planned to write. So, what do you think you would do when you're facing such a thing? When something did not work out and you are just standing there trying to process what happened? I just want to offer you three small things, not to fix it, not to rush you out of it, but to help you stand in it with a little more steadiness. So, the three tools, the first one is the anchor question, which you can use immediately. When a plan falls apart, the mind immediately starts catastrophing. It leaps to worst case outcomes, worst case identities, or worst case futures. The anchor question interrupts that spiral. The question is simply this: what do I know for certain right now? Not what might happen, not what you are afraid of, what you actually, factually know in this moment. It can be: I know I'm safe right now. I know I have people who love me. I know I have navigated hard things before. I know this feeling is temporary even when it doesn't feel that way. Anchor yourself in what is real and let the catastrophe stories lose their grip. When everything feels uncertain, certainty, even smaller one, is an anchor. You just need to find yours. Name it out loud, write it down, let it hold you while the rest settles. The second tool, the next right step. This can help you when you have the feeling that you're stuck. When a plan breaks, we often freeze because we are trying to figure out the whole new plan before we take a single step. We just want the full map before we start moving again. But sometimes the map appears as you walk. Instead of asking, "What is my new plan?" ask a smaller question: what is the next right step? Just for today, just one. It can be one phone call, one conversation with your friend, an honest acknowledgement of where you are, or it can be a moment of rest. Not the whole staircase, just the next step, and then the one after that. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to know what to do next. And usually, if you get quiet enough, you already do. And the last one, the tool 3, the rewrite tool. You can use it when you feel that you are ready. When you have moved through the initial shock and grief, there comes a moment when you are ready to write a new chapter. Not the chapter you planned, a different one. Perhaps one you couldn't have imagined from where you started. The rewrite exercise is this: take a small piece of paper, write two things. First one, what this experience has shown you about yourself that you didn't realize know before. Your strength, your adaptability, your capacity to feel deeply and still keep going. It can be any of it. And the second one, what you are now free to want, not what you thought you were supposed to want, but what you actually want now. Having been through this, having learned this, having become who you are today, that is the beginning of your next chapter. You're not behind, you're not starting over, but you are starting differently with more wisdom, more self knowledge, and more clarity about what actually matters to you. That is not nothing, but that is everything. Before I let you go, I want to say something directly to the person who came to this episode carrying something heavy. Maybe you are in the middle of a detour right now. Maybe you have been sitting with something that didn't go the way it was supposed to, and you have been quietly wondering if that means something is wrong with you. It, it is not. Plans change, paths shift, the map rewrites itself. And that is not a sign that you failed. That is a sign that you're alive, fully, messily, beautifully alive, in a world that is not interested in staying still. Just like the Google Maps that redirect us, life also has its way to redirect us. So the question is who you choose to be in that surprise the life gave you. And you, by being here, by asking the questions you're asking, by doing the inner work, you're already choosing. You're choosing to understand rather than react, to grow rather than shrink, to find the compass even when the map is gone. That takes a lot of courage, and I see it in you. Together we heal, together we grow, together we rise. One small thing again I want you to do before you go: give a star rating on Spotify and do leave a comment. It is the single most powerful way you can help someone else, someone who is also navigating a detour right now, and they can find this platform. The link is can be seen in the notes. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, genuinely, for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good time.